Hello and welcome to the madness that is me, racing cars in real life. Finally not on the video game anymore. I know I talk about racing all the time and here we are, I have some proof. So this was the third night out on the car, first night with the GoPro on the car. That said, I didn't have the GoPro on for the heat race, so pretty much the whole thing with the heat race, I started fourth, got to third. On the restart, I ended up passing the 22 because they're having some issues with the throttle, so that ended up putting me into the trophy dash, and since it's inverted, I was put to the pole. So we start here with me on the pole, being the inside front row. I set the pace. I don't think the 61 liked my pace, and because of that, I kind of didn't know what to do, so I started going a little early, and then I let off, and then I got back on it, so I kind of lost. I mean, it ended up kind of working okay, but arguably that 61 is the fastest car in the class, so I probably wasn't going to get him in the first place. And then coming up on the outside here, yep, is the 57. Yep, there he is. Tom Zwicky, he's the current points leader, so I was fully expecting to lose out to both of these guys. I wasn't quite sure about the 35 because the 35 was loose, and losing this much ground, I decided to run the high side, which probably didn't help me out any because the 35 would end up coming up on the inside. But again, I just wanted to make the laps because I was just happy to be in the race with the fastest four cars. So there's white flag, and you'll see sweeping up from the bottom, scaring me half to death, the 35. And yeah, there was last place. That's me now. 35 got loose. I put my foot in it, tried to get it. Didn't quite get it, but I will not complain. I made it to the trophy dash. So yeah, that was that. Now this is the main event. 25 laps starting from 5th. The 77 was in my heat race, and he followed me pretty much the entire time, so I knew we were going to be close. I hadn't raced with the 11, so I had no idea. I hadn't raced with the 31, the blue 31. So I just kind of decided to take it easy. I left the bot. I kept going easy because I knew that the 61 was going to do this and just come across at some point, and I didn't want to be there when he did. And right about here, going into turn 1, the 77 is going to have no idea that the 61's coming. So he's trying to arc the corner, get a good run, hopefully beat the 31 off. And they kind of go in, and right about there, well, now the 77 sees him there, and they touch. And after you touch, you can't really do, like, they touch, and they bounce, they get kind of clear of each other, and then after that, they just, if YouTube would cooperate with me, going frame by frame is really slow. So yeah, bounce, they touch again, and at this point, they get hooked. And there is no way, if the 61 tries to throttle up, then they're both going to go to the fence. If the 77 tries to turn down to avoid hitting the 31, they're both going to go into the fence. The only real option would be for the 77 to mash the brakes, but in that case, it might lock up and go right up into the 11. So there's really not much you can do there. So they just kind of touch, and they all go up. And I stayed really far back just to avoid that. You see, half speed, they just tap. The 61 has a crank left, and they're just all a mess. So I probably could have gotten a lot more spots if I stayed in it, but I was too scared. And now I know the 77's probably pissed, and the 31's probably pissed. So I'm just going to take it easy on the bottom, see if I can't make anything happen. 31, I think, has either a rub or a cooling issue. I wasn't quite sure. So I was like, okay, just going to leave him alone. 77 looks a little bit squirrely on the throttle, so maybe see if I can't track him down eventually. And cars pushing in 1 and 2 and looks loose out of 4, which was the opposite I was having. I was having a lot of issues coming off of 2, not much issues coming off of 4. But now I was just trying to get a rhythm, and then 31 pulls the infield. It's either 31 or the 10. I think it was the 31. So that's one more car down. And yeah, you can see right over there. I think it's the 10. I could see from inside the car. I just can't remember now. And right coming down the backstretch, we get the red flag, which means you stopped. You see the red light right there. I would have stopped a lot sooner, but you can hear I'm trying to find the gear, trying to find neutral, just clanking around, because I did not want to stop this thing and have it stall because we're having issues with it refiring. So right here, it is not on the video that I'm showing, but I'll insert the footage of the excitement on the caution laps, because the 77 wasn't happy with the 61. I don't know if the 61 was necessarily happy with the 77. So right at this point, when they're having fun, Mike the flagger basically said, hey, no, you're not going to do that on my track. If I see you guys touch again, you're both off. So that was fun, right in front of me. And here we go on the restart. I'm starting on the bottom, which seems to be the preferred line today. Most days it is. So a little bit sleeping on the start, but still trying to figure out how to drive this car. 61 is sliding. The 61 should not have cleared himself, because you never know if someone's still there. He could have just put himself into the wall, but the 17 was kind enough. I thought that he was going to probably just shove him into the corner, and he did not, thankfully. So I'm running the bottom. I think the 35 is still up top, so I'm trying to keep it really tight on the straightaway. Yep. And the 35 comes down. She was clear, although hard to say if you're going to be clear when you make that type of move, but no harm, no foul. So the goal now was to try and follow the 35, because the 35 has been fast all day. So if I could follow the 35 past the 77 and maybe even past the 61, because the 61's been pushing bad. I start trying to run a little bit higher up here, see if I can't make anything happen. The 35 gets out of shape off the corner and still pulls, so after a couple turns, I gave up on running the top side. And as we're going, the 61 is starting to find his way around so he can get back up to the 22. 35 passes 77. I get up to the 77, and because of the head and neck restraints, 77 has no idea I'm there. Which, that's fine. I'm not doing anything until this turn right here. So coming up, I may or may not have broke a little late, and I don't know if Steve saw me or if I was just lucky, but going into the turn, watch the wheels, goes in, hooks it back right to either give me room or avoid spinning out. I don't know if he saw me right here, and that was the closest I think I've ever gone to another car without touching it. And now it's heads up racing. He knows I'm there, I know he's there. He gives me room, I give him room. And while there's a battle for, fourth, there's also a battle for the lead. You can see 61 getting another 22, gets tight, gets a little bit loose coming off the corner because he had so much wheel in it. I'm not paying any attention to that. I am staring at that 77 every single turn. And again, he gets himself clear. That's the 57, I think, on the outside of me right there. But he can't get by either of us. And there's the 61 now in the dirt. So I know there's going to be a caution called pretty soon, unless he gets going. So I'm trying to pass the 77 before the caution comes out. And unfortunately for me, caution comes out right about here. The 77 is just a nose in front of me. So, yeah, no position for me there. But that ends up working out because with the California restart, leaders outside, second place chooses high or low. So that stuck the 77 out there on the top side, giving me the bottom, which I didn't necessarily want, but I've come to find out it ended up being the much nicer line. And coming through 3 and 4, the 11X, who you'll end up seeing later in the video, got into the back of me. No harm, no foul, but it's just when you're up near the front, everyone is really close trying to get that start, trying to get the position. So right about here, there you could hear it right there. Didn't see it much. I felt it in the seat, but car really didn't move. So beside the 77 again, and we got a bunch of cars behind us because we're a little bit of a rolling roadblock, because when two cars are side by side they can't get around the track as fast, and I'm babying it on the bottom. And this is, I'm pretty sure, the moment where I just got the position because he got tied up on the top. And here the 35 passes 22, and now I'm in third, which was weird. And it's right up here. This moment, I'm not gonna lie, this is the moment I thought I might win the race. Now 35 catches it, but the 35's loose. So with how loose the 35 is, I might be able to have something. Now that ends up not happening at all. The 35 just drives away, but I had a little bit of a pipe dream right there. And there's a caution, and you can't quite see it. There. I'll just back a couple frames. Right over there. That's my teammate. He got into the back of someone, killed the radiator. That's the caution. So 35 is going to be out by themselves on the restart. 22 obviously picks low. And for a moment, I'm like, if I can get a good restart, I might. If I could get a good restart and the 35 gets loose, I might have a shot. This was one of the few times I've ever restarted on the car, and I was just sleeping on the start. So, yeah, that was gone. But, hey, I could try the high side, and the high side was junk. So, lost that. There's the 11X. He goes by me, no real surprise. He's one of the faster cars in the class. Brian Fitzpatrick, he did a lot of the work building my car. And there's Tom Zwicky, the points leader. So, I was shocked that I was ahead of them for as long as I was. So, I couldn't really complain when they got by. But now it's okay. Trying to follow the fast guys. See if you can't get faster. And then maybe try and follow them if something else happens. Capitalize on the spot. So, 5th, I was perfectly content to run 5th. Not bad at all. And then we have another caution, which is the 61, right up there. 61, I think, was scored a lap down at this point because of a black flag that they received, so I had to pull off and pull back on. So now I'm restarting in 5th. 5th? Yeah. And coming to take the green flag, the car just stopped steering. So I lost power steering and lost all those positions, those 2 positions that I'd been keeping, or I lost them on the track. I'm still technically ahead of the 61. But yeah, the car does not steer pretty much at all now. So if you've ever driven a car without power steering, I'm about to pull in the infield, but then I see the white flags, like, I'm going to go for one more. But if you ever driven a car without power steering, you know it sucks. But this car has a quick steer, which is 2-to-1, so this thing is twice as hard to steer as a normal car without power steering. So I am pulling as hard as I can, trying not to hit the wall. Yep, so there's the race. I ended up having to do the cooldown lap, because everyone has to do a cooldown lap. I had to do another one because all the cars were stacked up, and I was not confident in slowing down and getting the car turned over the hill, so I took the other cooldown lap, and I almost hit the wall coming back down into the pits. But I mean, that's just part of racing. Stuff breaks, and you just have to deal with it. So we're gonna get it fixed. Hopefully, come out for the next race and run a little bit better every time. But, thank you for watching. I'm not going to beg for you to like and comment and subscribe and whatever, because it's not like I post here often. But I do hope that I'll see you in the midst of the madness again.